Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel AI Practitioner. Today I will show you how we can extract the PDF data and insert into Oracle database tables using free Claude Cowork. Okay, so I have some invoices. So this is my requirement. If we have some invoice from the vendor and we need to enter those invoices into our Oracle database. So what we have to do in the simple way, we have to do manually, right? We have to manually insert the data into the table. But in the today's automation world, I will show you how you can do it through Claude Cowork. And this is all for free. So there are some prerequisite before doing that. You should have a Claude Cowork. So if you have paid version, that's even better because that works perfectly fine. But I'm using the free Claude Cowork. So if you don't know how to set up the free Claude Cowork, so please see my previous videos how to run Claude Cowork for free using third-party inference. Here I showed you how to use the Claude Cowork for free LLM models using third-party inference. So don't forget to watch this video before this video if you don't have the free Claude Cowork. If you have the paid version, you already paid and using Cowork, then you don't need this. You can use the paid version. And second, you should have a database. So you can use any database basically if you have configured with your Claude Cowork. So you should have a MCP, Model Context Protocol, MCP server to connect your Claude work to your database, and then it can use those tools, MCP server tools. It will use to interact with the database. But I'm using here Oracle database. So for Oracle database, how to install that also, if you can see my previous videos here, how to quickly deploy Oracle 26i on Docker containers. So if you're on Windows, you can easily, or even on Linux, you can just easily install this. This is very quick to install Oracle 26i on Docker container. Once you have the database, then what we need an MCP server. So MCP server is basically a mediator between the Claude Cowork and your Oracle database. So that's how you Claude Cowork can communicate with your database using tools. So that's why we need the MCP server. So I'm using SQLcl MCP server. That also I created a video earlier. So if you this one, so make sure if you don't have that, you watch this video. Oracle 26AI SQLcl MCP server, how we can configure with the Claude. So once you have the free Claude Cowork installed, and once you have Oracle database and the MCP server, you're all set for this video. Okay, so if you don't have any of these, just go to my previous videos and watch those videos, and you can set up that environment. Okay, and after you have done all these things, then you can open your Claude Cowork. I will show you a little bit how I set up also before starting, if you didn't watch those videos. So this is, if you see at the bottom, left bottom here, Cowork 3P gateway. So this is the free Cloud Cowork that I set up through the third-party inference, and I'm using the open router to use the free LLM models. So how we set up this, you can watch my previous videos, but I'm just showing here a little bit. So if you go developer, so if you see in Claude desktop, you won't see developer. So you have to configure that. You have to watch my videos. But after done that, if you see developer here and configure third-party inference, if I click here, I already set up. So I'm not going to set all those things in this video now, but I'm just showing you. So here you see I set up this gateway base URL for open router, and here is the API key. So this is how you can set up the inference, third-party inference here. So let me close this. So if you see here, once you set up this, you will see all the free models here, for free and paid model, sorry, not only free, from the open router. So I'm using here free model, but these are some paid model also. You see, this is the paid model. So if you put some money in your open router, you can use these models as well. But if you don't put any money, you can use free model. This is the first thing. Second thing, I have the Oracle database already, and I also set up the SQLcl here. So you have to download the SQLcl you have to install, and then you have to configure the MCP server. So for all those how to install SQLcl and configure with Claude, you just watch my previous video. But now let me show you here. Where is that? I just want to show you the MCP server settings. Go to the settings here, and if you go to the developer, you see this is the MCP server I already set up. SQLcl is running right now. So if you want to see the configuration, you can see my video, or I can just show you quickly here. So here is the simple configuration. So this is the path where I install the SQLcl, and where you have to use this MCP server, basically this configuration to use this. So argument dash MCP, this is the command where you install the SQLcl and just use the name of your MCP server SQLcl. So it's a simple configuration. So once you have configured, so you have Oracle database, you have MCP server that so Claude can interact with your database. This is the MCP server, and you have free Claude Cowork here, right? So we are all set. Now what we have to do, I have some, let me show you. I have this invoices folder on my desktop where I download some demo invoices from the internet. So if let me show you. So this is one of the invoice I just opened. So these are like a regular invoices we get it from our vendors. So these are all the demo ones, like not the real one, but this is how, like, even in your real production, if you get those invoices and you have a requirement that you create an Excel sheet from this data, or maybe to insert into the some database these value, you don't need to do any manual work. We can use Cloud Cowork. Okay, so that's what I will show you today. So now let me go to Claude Cowork, and if you see here, I'm using this free model here, if you see, right? And I just run this query, connect me with Claude HR connection, because I have different connections in my SQLcl MCP server. We have a different connection. So if you want to see the connections, I can show you here. So here, CM list. So you see here, we have many connections here. So Claude HR, free SQL. So I'm using the Claude underscore HR connection here. So how to create these connections, and how to use these connections, how to install SQLcl. As I said, just see my previous video, and you will understand. This is the video. Okay. So you can list all the connections, then run connect me with any of the connection you want. So I just connected with my Claude underscore HR connection. So you see I have successfully connected to Claude underscore HR Oracle database connection. The database is running this version. And what would you like to do next? List available schemas run specifically. So this is what it's asking. But what we have to do, I have to convert, or I would say, whatever these invoices, I need to create a table in the database and insert uh, insert all the fields from these invoices into the table as a column, and one row for each invoices, basically. So for that, let me just write a prompt here. uh, So this is what I already wrote. So what this will do, so first let me, I don't know if I added here or not, add files or folders. I have to add that invoice folder. Let me check if I already added, maybe. Connectors. So I think it's already added. If you see here, invoices. So should be okay. We'll see. So scan all PDF invoices in folder and get all the fields. Using Claude and the Sketcher connection, create a table name invoices. With columns mapped with each field in PDF invoices. Create one primary key as invoice ID as well. Insert data from each field to invoices table into the invoices table, and create one separate row for each invoice data. Okay, so for each invoice I need a separate row for each of the invoice, so it should be 8 rows with all the datas, and each columns is basically the field. Okay, that's what I said here. The columns mapped with each field in the PDF invoices. Okay, so first it will scan, then it will create a table, because using this connection it will create a table called invoices, and then it mapped the columns with each field in the invoices. Then also one primary key, the invoice ID, to separate the rows, and then insert the data each field into the invoice table. So let's see. So Claude wants to run this SQL. It's inserting now. So now here it passed the data. Now we need to insert each. Let's do one by one via SQL. We also need to handle date format. Let's start with sample 3. Okay. SQL wants to insert. So it's getting some issue in inserting data, I believe. So here it's using the different approach. Check the exact format. Should be a date insertion. First, let me try. Okay, I think it's inserted now. Just use the to underscore date function. Just pass the data string. Okay. So basically you can see whatever it's doing at each iteration, or each thinking iteration, what it's doing to understand. Now it's selecting the data. I think it's almost done insertion. So this is a little slow because I'm using the free model, but even in the free Cowork that I set up with third-party inference, you can use some paid model as well in the open router. If you see here, there's so many models here, right? So these are the paid models. If you see, if it's written free, then it's free. At the end, if you see free, then you see this one like this is free. So I'm using the NVIDIA Nemotron 3 Super That's a free model. That's why it's little slow. So you see here, it's giving all the details that it's already inserted for sample 1 and sample 2 PDF, and still need to insert for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what it's extracting the data from these remaining ones before inserting. And it's asked me to insert here. Now I need to process the remaining invoices. Let me continue with sample 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So sample 3 is done now. So it's doing in each call one by one, basically. So data is already there. It get the fields, scan the PDF and get the fields. Now it's inserting these fields into the database, like this is a column value and this is the row value, basically key value pair. So here is the complete summary. If you see, uh, it's showing here, I have successfully connected to the Claude HR Oracle database and completed the requested task. So what it do step by step is connected to the Claude HR Oracle database, and then is create the invoices table that we ask, and invoice underscore that data, this is the primary key which we said in the prompt, and it create all the fields here. If you see, data processing processed all 8 PDF invoices from the invoice folder. Okay, so you see how nicely it's give the output. These are the invoice files, these are the invoice numbers, these are all the columns that is creating, and this is how it inserted into the table. Verification, 7 rows inserted, 1 for each invoice. Primary key constant, all relevant fields, item description. The invoice table is now ready for querying and reporting. So you see, so now if we need to what it says, each invoice is stored as a separate row with all available fields mapped from the PDF document. So I can also verify from here. Let me connect to my Claude HR and verify. So it's connected to Claude underscore HR. So if I say, let's describe first invoices. So my system is very slow, and I think this Docker image also, I'm using the Docker image for the database, that also I think ran out of resources. I can display the result even here also if we need it, but I just want to show you at the back end. So you see, it created this invoices table nicely, and this is the invoice ID, this is the primary key, and these are all the fields from the invoice it's created. And now if I do select, lets me do few of the columns. Invoice ID, invoice number, Sorry, it's very slow actually. Invoice, my internet is slow actually. Invoice date. Let me say seller name. I don't wanna do all the rows because then it's not easy to understand sometimes. So seller email, and let me just do subtotal, tax amount from invoices. You see here, these are the invoice numbers, this is the invoice date, seller name. So these are seller name, it's get it from the PDF, and here's the seller email address, subtotal. So this is how it's like you see how easily it's inserted all the data from those PDF invoices into the table. It even create the table, and it's inserted the it create the columns and inserted all the PDF fields into the table. So if we do this manually, it will take like hours of work that it saves, and it do just like in few minutes. So this is how Claude Work is beneficial, and it shows you how it did. So I just paused the video in the middle because it took some long time, but it depend on your LLM model as well, because earlier I used another model like paid model from the open router, and it was very fast. And it's created basically two tables, one with invoices, one with the invoice items, what are the items we have. But in this case we just ask for the creating that one table invoices, and I use this free model, that's why it took long time. So just to explain why it took long time, earlier when it actually inserted the data, but there is some issue with the date format. So what it did, it disconnect again, you see, disconnect, then it connect again and disconnect again. After connecting, it's basically what it did, it drop the table again and insert and create the table again, and then insert all the data again because of some date column issue. But it resolve itself, we don't need to do anything, it resolve the date format itself, and it's then inserted the data again. So after so many iterations, then finally it inserted all the data from the PDF into the table, and it's all, you don't need to do any manual work. If any error message comes, it automatically heal that, resolve that. So this is very nice, like if we have so many PDFs with invoices, it's not only invoices, if you have some other kind of a PDF data, and you want to insert it into your database, this is the easiest way with Claude Cowork. You can use some you can put some credit into the open router, and you can use some paid model as well to make it faster, and this is how it will be inserted. So this is nice, you can try this, and let me know how it works. And if you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and see my previous video how to set up the SQLcl, and if you want to set up the free Claude Cowork. Okay, thanks, and I will come up with some new videos. Thanks for watching.